our first guest knows what nourishes her soul, and she is so true to that on screen and off. Yvette Nicole Brown. I love this woman. She's been on a journey. She has been on this epic journey, changing really the way she sees herself. I've always been so inspired, but especially how open she's been about caring for her dad, Omar. She's appeared in more than 100 TV shows, movie roles, and now, though, she is starring in this new series. It's being described as the modern-day Golden Girls. Okay. It's called Act Your Age. Yvette plays a recent widow named Angela. In the show, Angela and her friends, played by Kim Whitley and Tisha Campbell, are all starting a new chapter in life as roommates in their 50s. Take a look.
I didn't think the three of us living together would be a good idea, but this week has been a pleasant surprise.
I knew me and Bernie would be good, but I thought living with you would feel like living in a convent and not the fun Whoopi Goldberg kind.
Keisha, if you set foot into a convent, you would burst into flames.
When I didn't. Anyway, this is way better than living with my ex. I never felt like I could be my true self around him.
Oh, well, you could be whoever you want to be here, honey. Mi casa y su casa.
And what's mine is yours as well. Bernadette, are those my bed socks?
Please welcome someone I simply adore who brings a smile to her face. In person for the first time, Emmy-nominated actress, comedian, writer, and a great woman all around, Yvette Nicole Brown. Beautiful.
It's you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Oh, God.
Hi,
Welcome, everybody. Oh, my gosh.
You know I did this for you because you're always so festive and floral and beautiful.
You
So
look
we need something nice.
stunning.
Thank you, so do
stunning,
you, sis.
stunning, everything. Well, you always radiate joy. No matter what you wear, this
Oh.
woman wears beauty and you radiate joy.
Thank you, sis.
You know, I'm so happy that you're here. I was, just as we got the news about the passing of Harry Belafonte, I thought about something that I'd already planned to talk to you about. Your dear, dear friend, Sonia Eddy passed away, was that in March?
No, in December. She just passed in
Just
December.
passed, and you paid tribute to
In
her.
March, yes.
In March, my apologies.
There she is.
You paid tribute to
Yeah.
her in March.
Friend Carla and Sonia, yeah.
And then you talked openly also about the loss of your mom, Fran.
Yeah.
And
There she is. Look at Mama.
in 2021,
Yeah.
there's a quote that you had about grief, and you say, "I have accepted that it will always be this." Now, that's not tragic. It's sad, but it's not tragic.
Yeah.
And you've talked about grief and
Yeah.
how to process it with great losses of a friend
Yeah.
that knows you for many, many years, and a mom who knew you from day one.
From day one.
Day one.
Yeah.
How did you get to the point of processing grief, especially such heaviness?
You know what's funny? I saw a show and they said that what is grief but love persevering, right? Now that stuck with me. It was WandaVision, I saw that on. And I thought about it, the grief is always equal to the love.
Yeah.
So what I've been telling myself now when I'm destroyed, because you know with loss, it comes in waves. You think, oh, I got it, I'm gonna be all right. The next day it's like it just happened. So what I tell myself now is, it is an honor to be this destroyed. Because that means I had an amazing mother. It's a perspective shift, but it changes. Like with your loss of Mr. Belafonte, like if you didn't feel it where you feel it, that means you didn't have the connection that you had.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's supposed to kill you, it's supposed to really get you. And it's okay. And you
Yeah.
feel it and you move through the emotion, and then you get to the point where you start thinking about them and it's less tears and more laughter.
Smile.
Because the fact that I'm not crying right now, it's like I'm in that stage now where when I think of her, I laugh and I smile. And same with Sonia, we had so many good times.
I know that's funny you said that because I was looking at the picture of Mr. B, Mr. Belafonte and Moses. I won't repeat what he whispered to my son, but one day I will be able to tell Moses every day, you know Harry Belafonte said this to you. That may be why he was crying in this picture. But to your point, it does bring the smile. Something else that brings a smile. This show, Act Your Age.
Oh.
I love this. First of all, it's the highest rated bounce
Debut
ever on Bounce.
Yeah.
So congratulations. But here's the mind-blowing thing. So the ladies here are in their 50s.
In our 50s.
Right?
Yes.
The Golden Girls, when that show debuted, were in their 50s. Did you know that? This meme, when I thought they were in their 100s.
No, they're 50s. And you know, they dressed him up a bit. Now, there's some powdered wigs
They
and what
did some
happening
powder
over there,
wigs,
yeah.
but this is what TV thought 50-year-old
Yep.
women looked like
Yep.
then. And this is what, look at y'all.
Yeah. It's amazing. And you know what? It's so great to be able to show that we're still in our prime.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
We
yeah.
are not dried up and lost. It's a show for all of us. So, like, even though it's black women of a certain age, if you're white, if you're a man, if you're young, because I was 12 watching the Golden Girls. I wasn't a white woman retired in Florida. And I enjoyed their shenanigans, and you'll enjoy ours.
I wanted to be Sophia.
Listen, we all want to be Sophia. I can't wait till I'm old enough to be Sophia.
To be Sophia.
Yes, yes.
This show is also about your character finding footing in dating. You had a quote that I loved about relationships and dating. I'll paraphrase it here, but basically you said, if I find the right person, great. If I don't, I'm good too. But being single is not a curse.
It's not a curse.
It's not a curse.
Yeah, there's a certain point, for some reason, that they decide that if a woman isn't married and doesn't have kids, that she's somehow damaged goods. And my thought is, I've said this before, but what if there's something wrong with the man?
Right.
Or maybe there's something wrong with society that says we have to be something. You should be who you're supposed to be. I have a full, rich, wonderful life. If the Lord blesses me with an amazing man, let's go on and do it.
Right.
But if he doesn't, it means I missed it. So if I don't have a husband and kids, I missed it.
Right.
My whole life was for nothing. I don't believe that.
And I don't either. And I got married at 48 years old.
Yeah.
And I used to get defensive about it. Because I'm like, what do you mean? There was always, well, what's wrong with that woman? Or what's wrong? I'm like, what's wrong with you for asking
me this question.
Yeah.
And also, you know, thank you.
Yeah.
From the beginning, though, we're taught as little girls, someday your prince will come. So from the time we're born, we're looking for him. We're everywhere we go to school, maybe it's him. I don't want to do that anymore.
Right,
he's
because-
gonna come or he's not gonna come, and it's all right.
You know, I was thinking recently, Moses, there was a little girl with Moses, and someone said, is that her boyfriend? And I'm like, she's 4. No, it's her friend.
It starts young.
Because we condition that that's the part.
Yes.
But that said, the flip side, I tell people all the time, now, if you want to be in a relationship, don't pretend you don't, right? I
That's
tell my
right.
girlfriends, you better tell everybody you know
that you're interested.
Yes.
Yes.
So, which leads me to, are you interested in how do you balance the reality of it?
This is the struggle as well, because now I'm old enough where my friends are getting divorced.
Yes.
Right? And so I'm at the point now where I'm like, well, what'd you get from it? I know you love your kids. You got great kids, but with the journey. And so I don't know that I think I might know too much now. You know? So it literally would have to be God pushing him in my face going, it's him, fool. It would literally have to be that for me, because my life is really great. You know, I'm taking care of my dad and stuff. Like, there's a lot going on, so yeah.
And I want to get an update on your dad,
Yes.
Omar, coming up. We'll catch up with Yvette on her dad, Omar. And a quote that I read from her that today shakes me to my soul. The beautiful quote, I'm going to bring it to her after the break.
Hello, Toad.
Rabbit, this is a delicious smelling cake you have right here, and you might need someone to try it for you. Very important to make sure a cake like this tastes as good as it smells.
Oh, I would love to give you a taste, Toad, but this cake was baked for a very special day.
Very special day? What very special day is it for?
Tuesday.
Tuesday is tomorrow.
Yes, and you are welcome to come back and have a piece then.
The shade. The shade from Bunny. Welcome back. That was a clip from the new animated TV series Frog and Toad on Apple TV+, an adaptation of the award-winning children's book series of the same name, written by the late author and illustrator Arnold Nobel. Emmy-nominated actress Yvette Nicole Brown is back. You're the voice of Rabbit in the series.
I am.
I never knew Rabbit had such shade.
I didn't either. When I read the books as a child, I didn't know she was so sassy.
She's so sassy, so
Sassy.
sassy. I teased before the break, there was a quote that I read from you that every time I read it, it really refocuses priorities for me. This is what you said in Her Agenda was the article. It says, my goal in life ever since I was born was to be a decent human being and to love people. We are supposed to use our platform for good, speak up, and fight for the people who can't speak up and fight for themselves. I mean, it should be a no-brainer, but like you get caught up.
Yeah.
And then that's what matters.
Yeah, life tells you that you're supposed to be a certain way, and I think you're supposed to fight against that. You know what I mean? A decency is still nice. It's nice to take care of people and to care about people. I'm more outward facing than inward facing. I want everybody to be okay. When I go, if I have a tombstone, it will say she wanted everybody to be okay. Everybody. Now, the thing is, you got to make sure you're included in that okay, because sometimes we do everything for other people, then we don't do self-care for ourselves. So that's important, too.
Yeah, and that's what you've talked about. The last time we spoke, you revealed that your father, Omar, were living together after his diagnosis of dementia. And one of our highest rated shows was a show on caregivers, because to your point, at some juncture in your life, you will either be cared for or care for someone.
That's right.
And it's that balance. How is he doing, Mr. Omar?
Mr. Omar is doing well. You know, dementia happens in stages. So, you know, when you get to another level, it's like, okay, so this is the new one. So he shifted into a new one, which is a little scary to be away from him. But I want to talk about this great initiative I'm part of called Caring Across Generations. And it's an opportunity for us to speak more about our caregiving journey, because if we talk more about it, more people won't be so afraid, and maybe if it's their turn, they'll step in. So it's at Caring Across Gen. You can go and find it anywhere, and it's wonderful. And President Biden just signed into law a way for us to have more benefits and opportunities as caregivers and for the caregivers.
Yes, absolutely. You talk about caring for your dad, but as you said, you also have to care for yourself, your wellness journey. And I don't like to tell people, like, you look amazing.
Thank you, sis.
And I'm not speaking out of turn, because you've talked about your weight loss journey. And you've talked about where you've come from. What was the moment that you said, okay, Yvette, I've got to do something different?
I got a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. And all I know about sugar is that they take your feet. And I was like, I'd like to keep walking. So I immediately, you know, went to my doctor. And the thing about it, I'm a part of another initiative that is really trying to make sure people know that obesity is a disease. And when you look at it as a disease, it changes how you talk to yourself. It changes how you talk to other people. If someone had heart disease, you wouldn't go, why don't you just make your heart pump?
Right.
You would understand that there's something deficient in their heart that they need help with. And it's the same thing with obesity. So if I leave you with anything today, it's that obesity is a disease. Look at it that way and be careful how you speak to people. And also, there's another thing. Yeah, we can clap for that.
Yes, I think so.
That's another thing. You have to stop talking about people's bodies. Can we just stop going up to people going, oh, you look so thin. Maybe I'm sick. Maybe I'm heartbroken. Maybe I got some bad news and I've been, you know, in bed not eating. So there's a lot of things like that. And I want to jump back to Frog and Toad for a minute if I can, because what is great about it, it's in line with what we're saying. It's a show about differences. It's a show about accepting that, you know, look, if a frog is taller than Toad, Frog has a more smoother voice than Toad has, and they get along. And they find a way to coexist, and all of their friends love them as well. And so what Apple TV Plus has created with this show and so many of their other shows that are for children, but actually have lessons for us, is it's teaching us how to live in this divided country we live in. You don't have to agree with everything, but you don't have to be hateful either.
Right. No. It is so true. It's this notion that somehow if I disagree with you, I have to hate you. That's not true. Now, there are some people we definitely want out of the bunch.
You're doing something crazy.
But for the majority of people, I believe people are, for the most part, good. And I believe that even though we live in these different worlds, that does not mean I have to strip you of your humanity either way. And that's what this is about. That's what this is about. Well, you are amazing, as Bunny has never shined so wonderfully since the 70s.
Listen, I read these books. I tried to find my book before I came, and of course it's very dusty and might have turned into dust by now. I'm so old. But the books are still available, and it's such an important lesson for right now. Frog and Toad starts April 28th on Apple TV Plus. Guys, please watch.
We will, and Moses will be watching. We love you so much. Please come back and see us.
Anytime.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. Frog and Toad premieres on Apple TV Plus April 28th, and season 1 of Act Your Age, baby, is on Bounce TV now. Congratulations. Give my love to the cast.